Hello everyone, it's Michael Lazar here, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to teach you guys how to improve your sight singing. So sight singing is the concept of seeing a piece of music and being able to reproduce it just from looking at it. Now this is very useful because it allows you to learn music without having to practice as much. It allows you to learn music maybe without even having to practice at all. It increases the amount of repertoire you can learn, and it allows you to learn music without the help of a piano or a recording. And a lot of times you might not have access to either of them. So having good sight singing skills is very crucial for improving you as a singer or a chanter. So to improve your sight singing, you need to start utilizing solfege. Now solfege are the syllables used to denote specific notes in a scale. So for example, in Western music you have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and you have the occasional half-step intervals in there like te, fi, si. Those are a bit more advanced, but when you start singing melodies that are in minor, you're going to have to utilize them. But just learning the simple solfege and utilize them in music will greatly help you. In Byzantine, we call this parley, where we have ni, pa, vu, ga, di, ke, zo, ni. A lot of times people like to skip the solfege and they like to skip the parley. What happens is that when they start to use words, it's harder to put actual phrases together. But when you start with the solfege, you can better hear the phrases and the intervals and better relate them to the actual music. And that way you can get a better understanding of what the music is supposed to sound like, and you can get a better way of singing them. So the melodies or the pitches are better in your ear and you're not just guessing. Because when you're guessing, you don't know if you're doing it right. But when you have an absolute sense of what solfege sounds like and what it looks like on paper, it's going to greatly help you. The next thing is to work on intervals. So you have to understand what intervals sound like. So if I have a major second versus a minor second, da 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 da, there's two different sounds there. But you have to recognize which is which. If I see a fifth, da da, or a fourth, da da, being able to understand what they sound like is the first step. But the second step is relating them to the solfege. So if I know ni to the is a fifth, or if I know do to so is a fifth, then what happens is I can better interpret what that sounds like just from looking at music. If I see a C to G, if I'm in C major, if I see an F to C and F major, I can better understand what that sounds like just from knowing what a fifth sounds like. Do, so, okay, that's a fifth, and I know what a fifth sounds like. That way I can apply it. When you work on intervals and work on what they sound like, you can better relate the relationships between solfege notes. And that way you're also reducing the guessing and also improving your pitches and making sure that you're more stable in them. The next piece of advice is to work on your scales. So in Western music, we have basically two types of scales. We have major and we have minor. Now minor, we have three variants. We have natural minor, harmonic minor, and melodic minor. Natural minor is just going to be la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, with no accidentals. Melodic minor is going to be la, ti, do, re, mi, fi, si, la, and then harmonic, and then on the way down, melodic minor is going to be la, ti, do, la, so, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la, and then harmonic minor is going to be la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, si, la, si, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. So getting those scales in your head are going to help improve where you are in the music. Because if you know where you are in the scale, you can better relate to where you are in the music. Likewise, with Byzantine, we have a couple scales. We have the diatonic scale, we have the hard chromatic, we have the soft chromatic, and we have the enharmonic scale. When you work on those scales, then you can better understand what they sound like and where you are in the music. If I know what ni, pa, vu, ga, di, ke sounds like, and I have a lot of ke cadences, I can understand that, okay, ke, zo, ni, zo, ke. Well, that's what those intervals sound like there. And when I utilize them in music, it's going to sound like that. And if I know other scales, for example, the hard chromatic scale, pa, vu, ga, di, ke, and I have a cadence that wants to go from Ke to the, I know what those notes in those regions sound like because I practice the scales. So practicing your scales are going to greatly help you improve your sight reading. Now, for Western musicians, you have something called key signatures. Key signatures tell you which key the bass or the tonic note is in. So if I am in D major, it's going to be 2 sharps, F major, 1 flat. And if you're going to study Western music seriously, you should learn what key signatures look like. And learning them is going to help you. For example, if you see 7 sharps, you know that's going to be C sharp major. Or F, I guess that's a weird minor key to really transpose to. I guess it'd be kind of like 7 sharps is kind of like not a nice thing to looking about. It's like A sharp minor, but you don't have to worry about that. C sharp major will have 7 sharps. But guess what? You know how to analyze that. You'll see that, okay, C sharp is do, G sharp is so. It's just like reading C major. Oh, C is do, and then G is so. When you utilize these tips, it's going to help to understand what different key centers sound like and how to navigate them. Because you'll realize that all of it's the same, right? Do in C major is going to sound the same as do in E major in regards to the relationship between the other intervals in the scale. It's still going to be the tonic note. So just working and utilizing that system is going to definitely help to engrave the solfege in your brain and help improve your reading of music. Now, how do you practice this? Well, there's a couple ways to throw this in. You need to first take it slow. A lot of times people will say, okay, this is easy. I'm just going to go and read something easy and then, okay, I know my sight reading. Well, if you're going to sight read Mary Had a Little Lamb, that's not really sight reading. That's just kind of, taking something easy and picking the low-hanging fruit. What you want to do is pick the low-hanging fruit at first, but pick them slowly. What you want to do is actually hear what it sounds like and analyze it. So I always say start with a piece you know well, a piece that maybe you've rehearsed or practiced or have in your repertoire. Or if you're a beginner, start with an exercise you know well. So maybe an exercise from a textbook you might use or from a music textbook. So like if you have the Concona book, you could choose exercise 1 or 2, whatever one you're working on or you already know. And go slow and make sure you understand the solfege for each note. It doesn't hurt to write down the solfege on each character when you're first doing it because that might just help to reinforce it. Now, as you get better, and I still say take your time, but as you get better, you might not need to write them down as much because you might be able to just read music just from seeing it and associating the notes with the solfege syllables, which is a great improvement. Once you get into the habit of that, still taking it slow and not trying to, speed up the rhythm or go to odd tempo, what you should do is now try to get into the habit of looking ahead a little bit of the note. So, for example, if I'm singing a piece of music, instead of singing the note I'm on, try to sing the note that's after it or the note that's 2 notes after it. Because when you're singing it, you're anticipating what it's going to sound like. Because for sight reading, if you're only stuck on the note that you're about to sing or that you are singing currently, you don't know what's coming next. If you don't know what's coming next, you're going to mess up. You're going to have to take more time. There's not much fluidity. One of my piano professors, she said that a lot of times she's looking 1 to 2 measures ahead of the music whenever she's sight reading because she wants to know what's coming next and how to prepare it. And what happens is that over time, you develop that in your brain where you're able to play something but read something else. It's like reading a book. Like you're reading ahead, but you're reading the past, like maybe 2 sentences before where you are. When you do that, you're better able to prepare where you're singing or prepare where you're playing, and you're able to execute it easier. So you're not having to look for notes because you already know where they are. Again, this is a skill that takes a lot of time to develop. It's not a skill that's going to happen overnight, but working on the fundamentals like solfege, intervals, and your scales, and also working on taking things slow and trying to really develop that brain connection of looking ahead a little bit of where you are is going to help your sight reading a lot. And you'll notice that as you start learning sight reading a lot better, you're going to learn music like that. You don't have to go and spend hours and hours practicing one piece of music. You can spend 15, 20 minutes and be able to learn a piece of music. Now, obviously, if you're going to put something in your repertoire and want to work on it and work on phrasing and dynamics and work on articulations and all these specific details, you're going to have to spend more time than that. But sight reading is going to help you get that under your belt faster and help you to add those interpretations much, much faster. So I hope you found the video helpful. Again, this is not going to happen overnight, but slowly by slowly, with discipline and patience, this will be a skill that you will be so glad that you built over time. If you found the video helpful, I would greatly appreciate if you liked and subscribed. Other than that, I'll see you on the next one, and have a great day.